Hey, I'm back to Yap again. Except it's not about baby in yellow. So, I suppose I'm going against my username well. Anyways, I'm talking about DVloper games, specifically trying to understand why Slendrina's mother, who I will be calling Ingeline just out of convenience. I do know that's not her actual name, but we're going to try and understand why Ingeline killed Slendrina and Slenderman, and to do this we not only have to think about what it would have been like back then, but also look at it through Angeline's perspective to understand what was going through her head. Slendrina says mother was in an extra good mood, which doesn't happen often, which suggests her mother is typically aggressive majority of the time. Furthermore, Slendrina is scared to say anything about the food tasting off in case she engages her mother. This helps to represent the dynamic they have from Slendrina's view of things. It also shows that Angeline is excited and happy to kill her family. So we aren't really getting a good vibe from her at this moment in time. I read a Slendrina fan fiction and it showed Angeline as being incredibly abusive and horrible to her family. I really enjoyed reading it, and at the time it only further justified to me that Angeline was a bad person since others also saw her that way. I still believe the fan fiction is amazingly written and it's popping up on the screen now if you want to check it out. But see, there's something about the whole situation that's bugging me, and it's the teddy. When we hold the teddy, Granny gets extremely angry as she loved Slendrina deeply, and the teddy is the last thing she has of Slendrina. But if Angeline truly hated Slendrina, then why does she too get angry like Granny? Logically, she shouldn't care about Slendrina's possessions and who is in contact of them, yet she still gets incredibly angry. So it got me thinking, both Slendrina and Angeline wear the same dress, and on the wiki it's described as a nightgown. And sure, you could say that the dress Slendrina adorns in the previous developments of the game are nightgowns. But there was a dress that resurfaced, and it resembled Slendrina's newer outfit so much. This dress in particular is a wedding dress. So, what was DVloper trying to say when putting both Angeline and Slendrina in wedding dresses? Let's bear in mind that Slendrina was probably a child when she died, as we know from Slendrina the School. In the time 1892, child brides were not uncommon. In fact, they were very common. Angeline being a child bride was probably correct, and it feels that's what DVloper is trying to say by putting her in a wedding dress. Same with Slendrina. Slendrina probably only saw Angeline as aggressive because that's the only side Angeline ever showed. Angeline was a child forced to marry an older man, presumably, and then bear his child. Slendrina's family has multiple large estates, so we can presume they're rich. Likely because they married off their daughters. If Slendrina, a young girl, was about to deal with the same fate as Angeline, then she'll want to protect her child from that fate. As a woman in that time, she had no freedom, no rights. Her duty was to produce a child and look after said child. This isn't to say she doesn't care about Slendrina. The fact she was sobbing in the house of Slendrina indicates she didn't want it to come to this, but to protect her child, she needed to do something, and she needed to do it quickly. Murder was the only option. So from Slendrina's perspective, it looks like her mother hated her and killed her because of this hatred. But I don't think that was the reason. And if we look at the other games, Slendrina the child, Slenderman was separated from Slendrina. He was upstairs. In games like Slendrina the Asylum, Angeline haunts the inner ring where Slendrina's child is. She's watching over the child, which suggests there's a certain degree of care and love Angeline has for Slendrina. There wasn't that for Slenderman and Slendrina, though. Overall, Slendrina died in agony hating her mother, but I don't think the hate was reciprocal. That's all for now. I hope everyone has a lovely day, and I'll probably be talking about the Batcoons from Babylerius next. Bye.